Welcome to Inside Sim Racing. I'm Billy Strange, and this is part 3 in our NASCAR Heat Evolution career. From our first race, our finish at the Daytona 500, we banked $11,324, so now we can go to team. And we're going to buy a $10,000 garage space so we can start building our empire. The evil. No, it's not evil. And from there we have basic milling, which will cost us $20,000. Or an engine shop, which will cost us $100,000. So, cool. We basically just have a shop right now with nothing in it. DMR have come out with a second patch with some more, little bit, I guess, more user-friendly options in the profile or the controller and wheel configuration for the PC. And look, I actually got my H pattern working, although it works a little bit on the odd side. It doesn't, when you put it in gear, it doesn't automatically go into gear. It's when you push the gas pedal and it kind of like slips the clutch. It's interesting. And now the reason, I'm doing practice by the way, the reason I'm driving this view very quickly is I had some questions about the wheel and why I set the settings the way I do. 270 on here with 360 rotation in the game, 270 on the wheelbase that is. And the reason for that is because it seems to feel the best as far as degrees of rotation wise. You can actually see my hands will go with the wheel entering on the screen, entering into the corner. This provides the best feel that I've found so far, and I also moved the sensitivity bar. And what I was trying to do is when you test the wheel in your controller setup in game, not the profiler or the launcher rather, I wanted to make sure that the full throw of the wheel I was getting was ending at the furthest left and right of the bar. In other words, I was getting lock to lock. I was getting a full ratio range, and it's something everybody's going to have to play with to get the right feel, because again, there's something odd going on with how they've determined degrees of rotation. Put it at 900, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't line up with my hands when I have the base at 900. So this seems to be, again, the best. The other question I got was, how come you're not driving in car? I don't like this view. It's I'm sitting too far back from the car and I feel very disconnected from it. And there's no field of view adjustment, and I've just decided that when there's no field of view adjustment and I'm sitting too far back in the car for my liking, I would rather just run, on that hood or bonnet cam, whichever way you say it. So just a little bit of an explanation on where we're coming from, and now we'll go ahead and get on to the race for Atlanta.
Hampton, Georgia, home of the Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is Rick Allen bringing you the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500. The mania of Daytona is behind us, and now the regular season really kicks in.
Get set. The race is going through.
All right, here we go.
There's a green flag. On high.
35, or starting 35th rather. You can see that delay that I was talking about. I let the clutch out, and it's like almost a second, and then it lets the clutch out and it slips it too, which is, I find, an interesting thing. We tried to make up some spots.
Clear high.
Oh, thanks. I already knew I was clear high. Gonna drive it on in. Start of these double file starts and restarts. See if we can grab some positions, because I don't know how good we're going to be throughout the race. 42 laps to work forward.
Car low.
Try not to get in a hurry.
Still there.
One thing I've noticed about Atlanta, come on, is you can really feel the tar lines in the corner, and if you can put your left side tires right, like the edge right against them, the inside edge, that is, it almost hooks you around the turn.
Clear low.
Which if I remembered right, some drivers were mentioning that they could pick a line like that because the tar, those seam lines would help turn the car. It would help hold it. Around Reagan on the outside of Dillon.
Car low.
There we go.
Car low. All clear.
All right, up to 33rd. Again, it's very nice to see that they're trying to patch out things very quickly, which just begs the question, why things were just not delayed to release it in a little better state. First impressions are everything. I disagree with the notion that, a continually developing title, and just people get a first impression, and they really tend to keep it. You almost have to work twice as hard to change their perception of the game. Wow, we got a good run. Oh, Menard gives us a little bump going by on the outside of a net. Making decent time in Atlanta. Some viewers from the last video at Daytona noticed that the draft really wasn't that big of a deal, and it's not. It's actually something they've stated, which, again, I find, if you know that, to be an interesting way or a state to release your game in. Gotta be careful here. Apparently at Daytona, the drafting model is not very good, and the speeds that you turn aren't correct either, and they've acknowledged this. Again, it's an odd design decision on the outside of Stewart here for 25th.
You're all clear.
Yeah, it probably needed to set a drop-dead date, and I understand that, but maybe a little more focused development
Still there.
could have helped improve the image and maybe not charge quite as much. I guess that's my biggest problem is if you know the title isn't up to snuff, don't charge AAA prices. Don't charge $60 for the game. This could be in the minority. Most fans in NASCAR that are casual, that is, maybe don't care for, don't really realize what they're missing. And that, I understand it. That's fine.
That was a great lap.
Try to run on the outside of Blaney.
Stay high. Still there.
Also making the comparison to iRacing, I'll just go play iRacing, that for somebody that has not started iRacing yet, there's two problems there. Number one, there's no AI in iRacing, so to just pick up and get in a race is usually not something that happens. You've got to wait. And if you're not used to the iRacing system, that can be a turnoff. It was for me for quite a while, and it still is a little bit of a sticking point for me, but that's not what their focus is. I understand that. I accept iRacing for the what it is and being the multiplayer powerhouse, per se, in the sim racing genre that it is. Now, the other problem is that's really, really expensive to ask somebody. $60 in this case versus it's got to be in the hundreds of dollars to get all the tracks and the three the three stock cars. Now we're all the way up to 20th. The iRacing, oh, just go play iRacing. That's not a good, unless they already have iRacing, that's not a good argument. And console players can't do that. And I don't care what anybody says. The console player, the gap is closing between as far as hardware is concerned, not as far as the processing power of the consoles themselves. But this title is on a console. They deserve a good experience as well. So telling them just to go get iRacing is an even bigger financial endeavor on their part.
Okay, that's the halfway mark now.
All right, so you heard the man. It's halfway, and I think I figured out that, yes, the career mode is using the adaptive AI, because if you watch the other video, at Daytona, we stalled out at about 20th position and had a hard time catching the pack. I've noticed the same thing here. I've gotten into 20th, and I've been running some of the fastest laps I've done in the race thus far, and what's the guy? Castle in front of me has been kind of pogoing back and forth while we've slowly been catching the cars in front of us. So adaptive AI is working. It's got that little rubber banding thing going on, and I know that's to help keep the player engaged. That's nice. How about giving us an option where we can take that off, though, for those of us that want a little more authentic experience? Not to say that this isn't challenging, but it's challenging in not the way I would like.
Great lap. Yellow's out.
All right, well, we have a yellow. I'm not going to pit. Wonder what the yellow was for. I just got put a lap down. I wonder if it'll give me the lucky dog. Somebody must have had a problem, gone into the pits. Moved me up to 19th. We've only got a few laps left.
Pace car's out.
See how this works.
Get set. The race is going green. There's the green flag.
I don't think we can pass. I don't even know if it recognizes that you can't pass below.
Car high.
This is going to be bad. We've only got 2 laps to go. They're
Car
bumping
high.
big time.
Car low.
We were back in 20th. Stenhouse around the outside. Oh, we get turned. We get turned. I'm not going to pit. Oh, we got a green-white checkered? Oh, come on.
Get set. The race is going
Of all the
green.
things I didn't think it would do,
Yellow in turn 2. Car low.
I didn't think we would get a green-white checkered, but here we go. I got totally screwed in that
Car
one.
low. Car low. Car low.
And how did all these guys get back on the lead lap?
Car high.
That's frustrating. That's not cool at all.
Car low.
I got bounced around so much I got screwed, and then
Last lap.
for whatever reason, I just didn't think they would do a green-white checkered.
Clear low.
And the crap part is we were just starting to gain some ground on 18th. That's the frustrating part.
You're all clear.
It's so stupid.
You're all clear.
I really dislike the rubber banding. It just causes situations like what happened. They get really fast in the start, and then they're like, oh wait, we're too fast. Ah, that was garbage. Ruined a great run. That's frustrating. Well, unfortunately, like I said, we had a terrible finish to a really good run. Of course, it had to throw a caution right at the most inopportune time. And we got screwed on a restart, so... And then I guess I could have pitted and fixed the damage, but I didn't think that that was going to happen. And I didn't realize that that many cars were going to get put back on the lead lap. I mean, I was the last lead lap car, and then, yeah, a bunch of cars got a wave around, I guess. So, hopefully you enjoyed this look after the second patch from DMR for NASCAR Heat Evolution. If you did, please click that like button. It always supports our channel. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to Inside Sim Racing for more NASCAR Heat Evolution content. For the latest in sim racing news, please visit isrtv.com. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can at strange_Billy. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.